So we'll start learning. The new generation want to have, like everyone else, a happy life. You know, they're not interested in the old school, like Sharia, like they want to have a good life. So they're figuring out how to do it in a religious way, Torah way, you know, in a spiritual way. I don't even like religious, but they're trying to do it with Hashem, and it's a struggle to try to do that. Like I know the new generation because most of my kids are friends with them. And my kids are them, they grew up Yerushalmi in a way.
Right.
So the point is, they want to be able to serve Hashem, but they also want to be able to have a car, and they want to be able to have nice clothes, and they want to be able to. They don't want to have the chovas and the anias that their parents had. They don't want to have it, and they figure out how to do it. They also have certain tools that they know how to live in a very simple way, and yet still have a lot. Meaning, if you go to a Yerushalmi's house, I'm talking about Yerushalmis, they have a way of this, like almost looks like there's nothing there. It's Pelagic because they're able to live in smaller spaces and able to get everything what they need and pack it away and have everything very masudar. So then when it comes Shabbos and Yom Tov, have the avodah.
It's crazy.
Everything's.
I've been inside their houses. And
it looks like they don't have much.
The kitchen is like a 3-bedroom apartment itself.
But it looks like they didn't have much.
2-bedroom has like a family of 7 kids.
Yeah, my son the son you mentioned, the one smirking at the Hafganos, like he obviously cares about it, but he's a chacham. So he tells me that when he goes to Yerushalayim and he sleeps over, because often it's hard for him to always get the bus back because he learns and works in Yerushalayim. So he sometimes misses the last bus or whatever, or he decides it's easier just to be in Yerushalayim and go straight to school the next day. So he stays in these Yerushalmi's houses, and he says it's like 10 beds and tiny 2-bedroom apartment, and he said you should thank Hashem. Like he's telling my wife and my daughters that we have a place in Efrat which has 7 bedrooms. You don't have that in Yerushalayim. A bunch of kids with their own room. In Yerushalayim there's 4 or 5 kids in one room, and they're all figuring it out. At least. It's a struggle,
They sleep in the kitchen.
So he'll sleep there, but not like when he has his own room he shares a room with my other son. That's a bracha, My oldest son, when he came back from the army, he's so, even though the house is not nice and we're renting it and stuff, but he said he loves the fact he's got his own room. It's the first time in his life he's got his own room, because we lived in Yerushalayim, we lived in smaller apartments, not as small as that, but we lived in Gemul. So there we have 3 bedrooms.
Is that Romema area?
No, it's by Zvil. That was one of our nicest apartments.
By the Kikar,
We've lived in some real pitsy small apartments. We had one to 75-meter apartment.
I used to live right by Zvil also. I lived in Rehov Beis Yisrael.
The
building that there was
That's like 5 minutes from us. That was 5 minutes.
The bomb went off. That was our building.
Wow.
The terrorists one time left a bomb.
Well, that was
outside the one.
That was 5 minutes from our.
I used to light garbage cans on fire Thursday nights.
Yeah, that was 5 minutes. Gavaldik.
That was off the road to Meishra with the.
Love it. I was such
good times. But that was 5 minutes. That was one of the reasons why we left, because of the balagan. Like we have now space. We have Yeshiva Das. My son loves the nature. Like when he comes back from the army, he loves walking the streets. He took out all my kids this Shabbos. He took everyone out for a walk around the frat. And they just walked around the frat. I was not feeling well, so I don't want to get anyone sick. I don't think I'm sick, but I wasn't up to going for a walk, even though it would have been good for me in a normal Shabbos. But I needed to rest. But he took everyone else out, and it was so nice. And he's got his.
The one with the mohawk?
No, he's the one who came home from the army.
The biggest mohawk.
Yeah, that one is the youngest. He's the youngest army. He's a football guy. He plays.
I was a little worried about him this week when I saw him.
Why?
Friday night, I don't know. He looked like.
My oldest son?
The one with the Payas mohawk.
Yeah.
What's his name?
I don't know. Zalmi. I don't know which one you're talking about. But anyway, the Nakuda is that...
the Payas mohawk.
Payas,
yeah. It's very cool. It's very cool.
No, he's good. They're all good. They're all doing their avoda. I feel very blessed in my children. One of the things, having a son in the army right now, with the discussion we just had with Shlomo, and someone brought it up, like it's a question... so what's going to be now if the army, is it following Das Torah, is it this and that? One of the things that, I've struggled with the fact that my son's in the army, and, I have had moments where I'm feeling like, are they putting my son in danger unnecessarily? Because they don't have the right das, the army don't know what they're doing. But that's where you have to really dive into Hashem, because in the end, even if they had das Torah, they still need Sata D'Shmaya, like everything needs Sata D'Shmaya. And in the end of the day, like it's all shmira, and we have to keep davening and praying and asking Hashem to give shmira the owner, because even if
so complex,
yes, complex situation. And someone asked me now, what did I mean in the shir from Rav Shlomo? So we just had Rav Shlomo talk about, and we're learning Chochmah being a das, we're specifically learning about Chochmah, and this is Tanya shir now, chapter 14. We're learning chapter 14. So the idea of Chochmah, he says, is a spark of clarity. You have to know the direction where you're heading. You just have to know your destination. Like he said, home is your destination. You have to know in a deep way where you're at. So then the question came up, but what about all these groups that have different das Torahs, and you get into the whole group discussion.
Yeah.
So what I said, and Rav Shlomo went down that path as well, and he's been going on that path the whole time in the shir, and that's why we're learning Chassidus now.
Right.
Is the derech of the Baal Shem, that it has to be pneumius.
It can only be the Baal Shem.
And it's individual, and each person has to go through this inner struggle, which is what these chapters in Tanya are about. It's about the inner struggle. And I said that, but he said, the person asking me, the Choshev Yid, Rav Chaim Shlomo, he's a Choshev Yid. He's from Svatz, like he's been around the Gedolim from the old generation. He's an old Yid, this guy.
With the bow tie.
Yeah, he's not stomach. He's been around. He's Choshev in Schweiz, excuse me. He's in Switzerland. He's Choshev in America. His family are very well connected. He's a special person. So he asked a very good question. He said, but the simple people, they're not like you. It's true. I'll be honest. I'm not going to say I'm not a simple guy. My mind is advanced. I'll be real with myself. My Rebbe says that I'm not being Gaivadik, just a Mitzias. My mind, Hashem gave me a good mind. Right. So my mind is fast. So I'm able to think and work through and learn and be connected to Tzaddikim and have all these years of shaykhs to holy people and hear a lot of Torah and absorb it. A lot of people don't have that comfort. Like even yourself, in America, as much as you've worked, you weren't sitting 20 years, even though you went to Shiva and Eretz, but you went 20 years in front of like Rav Meyer and all these cities. You have Moshe Weinberger, which is not a second thing, but it's still, I was in Eretz as well. I had a lot of bracha. I don't take it for granted. But to be literally like in the awe of Torah day after day for 20 something years.
Right.
Yeah? Even when I worked, I was still always afterwards or before around Torah.
Right.
So, wow, nice.
Smart.
Anyway, so I get what he was saying about me personally, but the point is, he said, but what about the people who are going to need just authority? They need someone to guide them. They're going to need Das Torah, and they're going to need a community to send them in the right direction.
Right.
So I said, the real derech of the Baal Shem Tov, this is my answer, relevant of my mitzias, is that each person himself is going to come to that understanding. That's what the Baal Shem Tov believed. He believed in every person has the and that's what we're learning here, has this avad nisteris, this hidden love for Hashem,
right?
And every simple yid has ability to come close to Hashem and be a Beinoni and come do Ratzon Hashem, and therefore it doesn't have to be an authority. Why did he write this book? So he doesn't have to be the Bali Tanya standing there telling you what to do.
Yeah,
because he's Ma'amin and it's Chassidim that we will come to that true understanding ourselves.
Right.
Fine, we have to learn the Svarim as much as we can and connect ourselves. And now we're in Eretz Yisrael, we have to try go to the Rabbonim and the Tzaddikim, do all that effort. But at the end of the day, the most important that is Emunah Atzmi. The Baal Shem Tov believed in the simple people. That's what you've been learning. You've been reading that book about him. And you see that with the Chabad Rebbe as well. He believed in Pashto Yidden. He sent them off to universities and had never even sat in yeshiva, and he believed that they would spread Yiddishkeit, and they did.
Yeah, no. I'm saying the Lubavitcher Rebbe did that as well too.
Yeah. He made people shlichim who had never really had yeshiva education. And that's like a question, like people say, Matzis Yahweh. You never went to yeshiva, yeah? That's what we say about him, I think he did. But like a lot of people
once
did.
he,
once in the music world, But look,
once he was Choser B'tshuva, he sat and learned.
Oh yeah, exactly. And not only that, but you see now, right now, there's a sort of interesting derech of Yiddishkeit developing where people are not like from, but they are dedicated to Hashem and Am Yisrael. It's an interesting path developing, and that's what I'm saying. Like we saw this with the army now.
It's all the Torah of Mashiach.
Yeah, we see it with the army that there's sort of like awakening of Yidden in the army. My son was telling me that so many of them put tefillin on, and so many of them did tzitzis. He was talking about it this Shabbos.
I really believe ultimately
there was so many of them. They woke up in a Yiddishkeit way. Now they're back on their phones. When they had no phones, it was the best. That's when the neshama really came alive.
I've been like coming to this like realization that what's happening in this world is that we have this like koach that's coming up, right? We have the amount of chesed, the amount of Torah, the amount of like most nefesh for Yidden.
Yeah.
All the good. And you can't have just that as well. And so the negative is coming as well to cloak that, right? So you can You can look at a video on the internet of like these like people marching through Kikar Shabbos and like just making a total mockery of that neighborhood and these people for no reason. Like it was very unnecessary, right?
I mean, I lived there for years, and I saw a lot of tourists coming through, and they even made Netflix programs about that community, and they're actually okay. They were actually.
Doing a
I didn't
in the middle of Kikar Shabbos is just like so inappropriate, and yet. And so what do you take from that? You can choose to be like, oh my God, we're doomed.
Yeah.
Or you can say, hey, at the same time, there's a video of, Haredi guys in Gaza putting tefillin on totally Chiloni people. And it could be so like the guy, one of the guys in Kikar Shabbos who's throwing eggs at one of these Chiloni people. His son is putting tefillin on that guy's son.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like the tzimtzum.
Yeah.
The tzimtzum that's happened, it's like the concealment that, we need to work through. Not. But
what does the media focus on? I didn't see the media focusing.
So that's even the whole idea. The media is just a tool for the tzimtzum at this point, right?
Yeah, it's working for the other side. So we have to limit our consumption of media.
The media can be used.
It can be used.
You can look online.
Try to influence the media in a positive way.
You can look for positive stories, but
I personally
blame the media, but we really
I've tried to build what I consume from only people I feel
it's very hard.
Are very positively focused. Like, gets a bit difficult, right? For example, we're going to Tanya in a second, but just there's one that could have come up recently, like with Rogan. A lot of people are upset with Rogan.
Rabbi Rogan.
Yeah. Rabbi Joe Rogan, they feel like he's going down the more anti-Semitic path. Everyone, they like to label everyone as an anti-Semite. Right. I don't like that whole thing. My thing is anti-soulism. My nakuda is, are they against the soul? I don't see him as a person who's against soul. I see him as a person who has tremendous potential to be a light of soul, because he's the way he is with his people and all the different kinds of people is very soulful, and therefore he just needs to have that someone connect the dots that it's coming from his neshama and people's neshama. There's room there for him to get there and to appreciate Am Yisrael. The problem is when it's all this like angry sort of like aggressive and you're an anti-Semite approach, then for sure it's going to make them go in that way, in the way it's expressed,
right?
Because it's like me or you. It's just a very superficial way of communication about the subject. The subject is very deep. And Am Yisrael, a very deep part of history, and what we have to realize that we got to stop just being so superficial in these kind of discussions, and it might make us feel better to know who's on our side and who's against us, but it's not so simple.
I'm reading this book of the Baal Shem Tov now, and originally when the Baal Shem Tov went throughout, they had all the misnagdas, and his direct orders were you do not engage with them. You do not fight with them. You do not debate with them. You love them the same way you love the schlepper on the street who's being Mechal Shabbos. Yeah. And that was his instructions. And so much so is that like you would see like letters that he would write back and forth. He never would go after someone and fight with them. He would just.
He also did something which got him a lot of trouble, that he machshaved the goy.
Right.
He knew how to see a goy as part of the divine flow, as part of the human reality.
You remember, that's
he
what
would
the Baal
see
Shem
divine
Tov
providence
was. He was the ultimate hippie, lahavdol.
No, but in the most true way,
in the most emes way, he was able to hold the truths of both worlds.
Yeah, and he could go anywhere and bring Hashem.
You see a lot of his talmidim like that, like Reb Levi Yitzchak.
Yeah.
A lot of the talmidim.
I'm just saying, like, if we really would internalize the derech of the Baal Shem, the way he meant it, and we really clarified and became more that ourselves for our own well-being, and it became our journey.
Right.
So then all these issues really will dissipate. And that's, I think, what Rav Shlomo is trying to help us by learning the Torahs of the Baal Shem. That's how we'll get more connected.
Right. I get a little like, I have a hard time with sometimes like the, I guess for me it's like, it feels sometimes a little, like I get like a little like, it's hard for me. Like when I hear the comments or the thoughts, and I'm like,
because there is a general consensus. There is a consensus, and I don't think you're part of the
anti-Haredi sentiment.
You're not part of the consensus.
It really hurts.
Yeah, it hurts me also.
Even though I don't necessarily agree.
Did you not know? Did you not notice that I come? That's when I come in.
Right.
He knows I'm going to be on the side and say something at that point.
Right.
I'm not going to let them just say it. And thank God, with Shlomo, who's the Rav of the Shir,
went towards my kavun,
Right.
because I'm not saying now we have to be pro Haredi. I don't care about that. My nakuda is I'm not trying to be a PR guy for Haredim. I don't care about that. I'm trying to be a PR guy for the truth and for the emes and panemius. And the Haredim also have to live up to a lot. Trust me.
Right.
I've sat in front of rebbes. I've gone to the biggest rabbonim and said my nakudas where I think they need a lot of work on. And I've said it to Menalim. I've said it to the biggest rabbonim and Das Torah.
I said that to.
I've done that.
I went to my son's.
They call me a kanoi for chesed. They like it, but it's not the normal way. Usually, people just shut up and listen.
I took my 11-year-old to an interview in Beit Shemesh. I want to send him to. He come from a yeshiva, so he's here in this yeshiva here, and it's just not matim for him. So we went to Ramat Beit Shemesh to send him to like a yeshiva, and so they said to us basically, they said, "You seem amazing. You seem like you fit here. Like, what are you doing in Efrat?"
Yeah, that's the external question.
And they're like,
I can imagine that question coming from us. But
they're like, we don't want that. We don't believe in that. We don't agree with them. Like that's basically what they said to us. They said, "You seem like what are you doing there?"
Such a shame.
And so then I responded to them.
Yeah, let's hear.
My response to them, I said,
I would have had this question as well back in the day when I came to Rabbanim. Thank God we're at places now which don't ask these questions. But
so I said to them as follows. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I said, I just know I ended up here. And this was the Ratzon Hashem. I said, but what I can say is that there's a lot for me and honestly all of us to learn from them.
Yeah.
I was like, because I remember when I was in the Mir Yeshiva, the best guys in Yeshiva, we used to think were the smartest guys, but really in MS, like, the best guys are the guys who conduct themselves like Ben Torahs.
Sure.
I was like, and the guys who were the best Ben Torahs were the guys who came from KBY, were the guys who came from like
you see the
those
Machon.
yeshivas.
They're all like the midas of these guys.
These
Everyone
guys were the
in
most sterling, upright citizens.
Yeah,
I was like,
just sharp people.
I was like, I davened my whole life. I went to yeshivish minyanim, yeshiva shuls. I was like, you walk into a modern Orthodox shul, from modern Orthodox shul. I was like, everyone's on time. Everyone's early. Yeah. I was like, every single guy there, they're davening. They're not talking. They're not like there's a certain tikkun. There's a certain kli that they present.
Their cheretz.
Their cheretz. I was like, that we really all can learn from.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were like happy with what I said or not, but I just like came out of my mouth.
It's beautiful what you said.
And I'm asking for me,
100% of what you said.
Indian that like I need to learn also.
The problem is you're dealing with a Haredi system that's boxed.
Right,
just like the Dati system as well. It worked the other way around for us, if we're going to bring it up. When we came here and they asked, where did your daughter go to school? Beis Yaakov, they were like, what are you doing here? And a bunch of schools were closed to us because of that reality, which is a shame this way.
Right.
They as soon as they heard we're from the Haredi world, from the Beis Yaakov world, they were like, oh, they're one of those. And then that was it. Like, we weren't even able to like have a proper meeting with the school because once we told the truth of who we are and our journey, they weren't interested because they're boxed off also.
It's very hard.
Until we found someone who, Baruch Hashem, it was a nace. We were at one point, my wife was like, what's going to be? We can't get our daughter to any school here. And then suddenly we found this Menahelet who had a secretary who was very much from the same path as us, gone to the Beis Yaakov
school
system.
Here?
And she was there and she got us in the door and to the meeting with the Menahelet, and Menahelet was happy of us and took our daughter, and then she stopped working there a week later. It's almost like she was there,
like an Elio Navi female.
just to get our daughter into the school, and my daughter couldn't be happier. But you see, like in the end, that's once again the way you're going to fix it. It's not from trying to fix the system. How you're going to fix it with Hashem's hashgacha pratis, that He'll fix it. Allow Hashem to fix slowly the world around you rather than trying to fight the system. And that's the derech of the Baal Shem, where it's much more panemius, where you somach on him and not on the people and the stories around you. And the more inner you get in this likud, and that's where the Sfarim help us, the inner struggle is the key to the success on the outer and the public level. Because if you're in a good place on the inner level, you will eventually get to success on the outer level. I'm still, obviously got a lot of work to do on the inner level, but the point is that when we get to that outer level success, it will become from a panemius place, and that will have true hatzlacha because it will be with Hashem.
Right. It's interesting also, like, and then this will be a good going into the Tanya, is that, which has been, I remember Matt Beit Shemesh, we went to go visit the Rosenfelds. I sat and was schmoozing. Nice. He actually mentioned you. He's like, oh, Eli Goldsmith, I see his videos. I don't know if you send the videos or he sees the videos.
Rosenfeld.
Joey Rosenfeld.
Oh, Joey, yeah.
And so
he looks at my status. So.
Yeah, so he was telling me, he's like, oh, I see Eli, whatever. Anyways, so I was talking to him
like
about
Joey.
this. We were talking about these ideas.
It'd be a shame if he doesn't come back again soon.
No, I'm getting him back for definitely for Pesach.
Good.
We're gonna have a shir from him,
Amazing.
or maybe a fabrengen, and then I want him
listening
to
to
start
his
coming
podcast.
once
Very
a
good.
month.
Yeah.
I really want to get him to start coming once a month and give a shir here, like just once a month.
It's very
I'm
panemius.
thinking very panemius. I think. So anyways, we were talking about, like I was talking about the idea of Mashiach, and it was like the thought that like I was thinking is like, you see this very much today because we ate by people on Shabbos who are like real Israeli, like Dati Lumi.
Yeah, I've been by those kind of people. Yeah.
And I saw that like the like Tzimtzum, the klipa of Eretz Yisrael is like a klipa of like no.
Yeah.
It's a klipa of constriction of like everyone's very like no, this is the way, this is how it goes, and
Boxes.
the R, right? It's like there's like and the R, it's like Aris the Tikkun and I'm sorry, Kalim the Tikkun, Aris the Tohu.
Yeah.
It's like the Aris the Tohu is really the Chutzlar. It's like Avir, like in a way, like a lot of the Panemius Torah came from Chutzlar.
Interesting, yeah.
And why is that? And even today, if you really think about like who's really at this point like blowing up like the Baal Shem Tov is all coming from Chutzlar.
Yeah, Morgenstern's from London.
Right.
Simayas from Muncie or America somewhere, yeah?
It's like, and
all
today
these,
it's like...
Biederman probably is there, it's as well.
Right.
So
it's like, there's just a certain...
Because he's daughters of Lelov. Lelov came here a long time ago.
Right.
So there is a both.
There's like an avir
there
of
is
like
both.
Of like chutzlah.
There's definitely
that.
The
Well, now
can
it
have
started to seep in here a lot,
Yeah.
but like it's almost like the tikkun is like where you're able to bring the tohu from chutzlah and bring it.
But
into
I would say it's
Yisrael.
tohu is also being able to listen to the Baal Tshuva, listening
Right,
to the
all of
Gerim,
it.
listening to people who've gone on journeys.
It's all that.
Because
All that.
that's also a big part of the from world's tikkun. They have to learn to absorb the ore from the Baal Tshuva and the Gerim. Because we have an ore that's connected into this
Right.
whole sugya of the Beinoni, where it breaks out of that limited category that only the Messiah and only the from birth are the ones to be part of. And if you're not part of, there's some stigma or something.
Right.
They break that whole
Beinoni,
that whole nonsense.
And we're all Beinoni.
Because they're also needing to do tshuva all the time. How much we see from learning Tanya, everybody needs to do tshuva.
Like if the Baal Shem Tov showed up today, what would he say? I think what would he say? I don't know.
Yeah.
I imagine he would go to every side, the left, the right, the far right, the far left, and he would say, like kindlech, like first of all, like we need to embrace every yid, no matter what.
Right.
Like we need to like love the Jew for
Wasn't
the Jew.
that Rosh Shlomo Kalibach?
Right, but Shlomo Kalbach, but probably in a more like.
Torah way.
Like I remember Shlomo Kalbach was that. Shlomo Katz heard that he was.
Oh, he is.
But you know what I'm
Torah
saying,
way,
but like you know, the Baal
No, but
Shem
it got
Tov is the
complicated.
ultimate. He would
like when I saw
he would
Mansell
bridge.
hug ladies on the video they just put out. That video was strong and I loved it.
Oh,
yeah?
the song was
is
amazing. No?
Fat song. I
part where
cried last night.
I just love the end.
I played it to my
where
wife.
he played.
Yeah, shoot, and when everything went
Shuva Hashem,
backwards,
Hashem Etzion,
that was
yeah.
so powerful. But he's hugging women.
Yeah.
So that's when you get to the whole Shlomo Kalibach sugya.
Right.
Like as much as you love Jews, like sorry, you're not allowed to do that.
Right,
yeah?
right.
So that's when it comes like back to the sugya. Like there's a gavul. Like what?
Right.
I understand. Well, before Mashiach comes and people need chizuk, but do you have to go that far? Like,
But it's also I don't know if it's our job.
I'm not judging.
like,
Chas
to
Shalom, just
even,
trying
like-
to just put it out there that it's complicated.
It's complicated, right?
That the Baal Shem
It's all
Tov,
tzimtzum.
the Baal Shem Tov was an example of, in his time, of how to do it without getting into any of this. He
Right.
never did anything against halacha.
Right.
And
At the same time,
is
the Baal
there any
Shem Tov
way?
he was the most saintly.
Yeah. Is there
was
any way
mamashi.
that we could bring everyone close without any boundary? Like I did a comedy event. It's mostly Shabbos. I'll be honest. I don't care if it's recorded. His name Mikey Greenberg. It was in Tel Aviv, part of a Kiruv organization. He needed somewhere to perform. I arranged it with JT Tel Aviv, and it was an event.
Mikey?
Sold out. Baruch Hashem was packed.
Mikey?
Mikey Greenblatt. He's like does comedy with like Eli Leibovich and Ami. He's become quite popular. Ami's got this podcast.
Okay.
That was where the Matziel said he wants to be a Maccabee again. That was the famous interview that went around. Anyway, so these guys are all comedians, and I got introduced to him through Eli Leibovich. So I booked him for Pesach, and well, now he's in Tel Aviv. I booked him a show. I only had a few days to organize it, and within a few days, I managed to sell it out. Baruch Hashem.
Oh wow.
So this was a Motzi Shabbos. So I'm sharing the post. There's a lady comedian. Some of the bar people weren't dressed as this. There's a lot of halakhic questions going on. Yeah, it's a Kiruv organization, so they have all these Satarim of Kiruv and everything with Das Torah. I think the Rav of the place goes to Rav, what's his name? Goes to Rav, the Rav Yaakov Hillel for Shilas, or maybe speaks to Rav Berkler, I don't know. But the point is that there's definitely some Das Torah involved. It's not like they're just doing what they want. But the point is that it's complicated so all these kind of things, like you want a macabre, so you create a situation where you have an event and men and women are sitting together, and it's complicated. I remember at Voresh, when we were on tour in Amunach, and the Miami Chevra asked, do we have to make a mechitza? And he said, obviously it's better, but I'm not going to force you to if your community is not ready. So they somehow had a section where men and women were able to sit separately, and then in the middle they were all mixed. And the Rav Orish just, he went ahead. He went ahead, yeah. So he went and gave the shit. So I'm just saying, it's always these kind of nakudas of bringing Am Yisrael back to their neshama and waking people up. And you get into the halakhic questions, how you do this, how you do that. So it's complicated, but the nakuda is, once again, if you see with Rav Orish, or you see with this night that went on, I hope that the point is panemius. We want to connect people back to being Jewish. We want to get shidduchim between Jews and Jews. Yeah, we want to make Am Yisrael happy and freilich and not depressed. Chas shalom. We've got to find ways to do it in a way that's going to light up the neshama, and this is the point of the Beinoni when he says here. Let's get back to learning Chabad.
Where are we now?
We are in Perek Alba Esrei, and we're still dealing with the fact that he says. Remember, we had the double lashon: be righteous and don't be wicked.
Right.
And then says, what's the point? So being a tzaddik is a gift. Hashem gives you this gift to be a tzaddik. So what if you don't get that gift? Yeah, you're not given that extra koyach hamayach, or that ability to hate the Yetzer Hara and have avad tanugim. So what happens? What do you then do? Do what? Be a Beinoni. And we mentioned also that idea with the women's story. Putting it in context. You cannot disagree with a full measure to accept an illusion. Never he should what?
About that story.
To be righteous, and God would do as He sees fit. So that's something where we got to.
So when I'm upset at her, I imagine her just a giant pile of pieces.
Yeah. It's a kaim, it's a shavua. Hamashbiim ti sadik Hashem yaseh tov be'einav.
I'm just trying to find where here.
Yeah. Emes. It should be where the bookmark was. Where was it? Was it here?
I think it was here, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, here. Be a tzaddik.
Or be a tzaddik.
Yeah, that's where we got to.
Be a tzaddik.
Hashem yaseh tov be'einav. And it's that or not. Whether you're a tzaddik or not, what? You're a Beinoni. Why?
We're all Beinoni.
Va'od. That was va'od. Shaharagil. This is the point of this.
It goes this way. That's how I was confused.
Yeah. Va'od. Shaharagil kol dava. Yeah, it's this direction.
Kahat.
Va'od. Shaharagil. Yeah.
Va'od.
Shaharagil al kol dava sholta nasa teva sheni. The what?
Habit.
Furthermore, habit remains supreme in the sphere and becomes second nature. So then what happens? He becomes someone who does good. Yeah, does Ratzon Hashem. It becomes very important to build good habits. Habits is a very important concept. Right. What you habitually do, you become. It's a known guru, thought leader concept that you want to create good habits. 7 habits. I'm very into 7 habits. 8 habits. That's one of my favorite books.
Right.
And the idea of 10, I made my own version, the 10 habits of truly effective Jews. Yeah, I made my own version. But the idea that we have to have true habits constantly seeking to win, seeking to prioritize all these good habits, constantly being in a place of being proactive, kind. Yeah, that's the habits, and it becomes second nature when the more you do it. Now, what happens? You start training yourself. This is where you get into the David Goggins, but in a Torah way. You train yourself to master sarah, to hate the evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, nimas kasat be'emes.
Right.
This is now it's being very real where we're holding. We have to. What we can do is accustom ourselves.
It's interesting
to despise evil.
Right.
And then what? To become extended.
This is the difference between
the rabbi.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Can I, are you guys only here on purpose? Or?
No.
Well, can I ask you? I'm sorry to bother you.
We can go somewhere else.
Just to move to Beis Medrash.
Sure.
Because we're going to have shir in here.
Oh, amazing.
Normally I give shir in Beis Medrash, but there are a bunch of people learning there. So
amazing. Yeah.
What time of the year?
The shir is either 11 or 12. It depends on the day.
Great.
It depends on how long.
So now it's at 11.
Yeah. Today's at 11.
So let's go to the other room.
Thank you.
We're just getting.
I do.
What are you doing the shir on?
It's for the machon.
For the shir.
An amazing day.
We're just getting into something, so
shir
let's
for
not
the
lose.
shears.
So we're getting accustomed to hate the evil and love Hashem. This is yours. You need it?
Yeah, I'll
so
take
good.
it. It's a Dixie cup.
I like it. These are fancy.
From the US.
I love those soft cups. Even the cups are soft.
Dixie cups.
Was that on your list?
This was not. This was on my. When I fly back for work, I come back with Dixie cups.
I miss these kind of like. Thank you, Rabbi. No, it's good.
It's yours now.
My wife asked me to bring other things. I tell her no.
Shkoyach for the shir yesterday as well.
The key to selling live.
I felt the ruach of the lozhen.
You look at the Ruach Kolasha. It's amazing. Was he such a modern person?
Yeah.
Eloquently.
No, that's
Shiva Eretz Yod.
his mind is logic.
It's very, very
Clear. Wow.
Super clear. But he's so heartfelt.
Yeah. That was beautiful as well. It was a good balance because it had the strength of the seichel together with the pure Yiddish
I
heart.
asked him to do a little bit more of a balance.
It was more the
It was more
seichel.
of a cycle. But once you invite somebody to speak, they do what they do.
But it's amazing. It's Klorkai. He didn't pause.
Super clear.
And he knows how to give over and keep everyone's attention.
Yeah, no, he's
You can so much you can learn from him. Just his like you said, his personality.
He's such a force. He's a real
That's not
talent.
sells
And he went around afterwards and he was machabed everybody.
Sometimes you
Like
just gotta
this.
find the right thing.
I
ordered something at
Amazon.
Amazon.
It's very nice for him also.
That's nice.
You see, he has keeps a vacation.
Shkoyach for bringing him.
Thank you.
I
learned a lot from it.
$49 is free shipping, under 75, right?
So I ordered 2 water bottles.
So yeah, brother. So anyway, we're in the middle of learning, Rabbi.
Mama?
You're disturbing us. We're trying to learn.
Ordered 2 of them for like $30
We're
each.
trying to learn, and you're talking about cups.
Cups.
Kops. Yiddish
The
kops.
Dalit crisis.
You can learn with us, for Simcha, but we're in the middle of like a.
Beautiful. Enjoy your Torah.
Thank you. So anyway, yesterday the Rev Tarragon was here, Moshe Tarragon. So he's from the Derech of Volozhin because his Rabbonim are Slanovaitchik, right? And I got this as a gift from a Bresover. I'm going to be learning this tomorrow.
What is it about?
Every week I'm just doing it tomorrow.
Selected mitzvahs.
I lost my Chavrisa,
Samach Tzedek.
Shema sent me a new one. Yeah, this is beautiful as well. This is beautiful.
Your chavrusa. Who's your older chavrusa?
It was Zevi. He's moved on to Rav Shlomo Shir because I can't compete with Rav Shlomo. Zevi. Remember he came up to us one time? Zevi, he lead the davening today. Zevi Stender. And then Ari Turks is usually my backup chavrusa, but he's away, so I have to figure out a third chavrusa.
In Chicago?
I want to do the Kutumaran once a week, and I learn this once a week as well, Derech Mitzvah Secha, but the guy hasn't been around so much, David, what's his name again? The one, Jerome. He's very holding in Chabad Torah, so we do like, it's very geschmack. This is all about Munah, and then this Nakuda is,
Is your son have a Steinbecker thing?
no. Oh, thank you so much. Kol hakavod.
This is nice.
Shame you didn't give it to me yesterday, he just left.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
He'll be back.
I was in the army yesterday. I picked it up.
He'll be back though.
Okay, so give it to him. And then
He's coming back in the middle of his time because he's got a chos now. I'll give it to him then. Another like 9 days or something.
Amazing. So give it to him. And then from a midbar, I'm still middle.
Amazing. Yes, please.
Oh, your
Give it
oldest
advance.
son.
Yeah.
Does Stein Mikra too?
He'll do anything. We handed him a Gemara. He was learning Gemara in the army. He's learning Kutumaran.
Wow,
If you give him a sefer, he'll
Got
learn.
amazing.
So anyway, but yeah, thank God that was Yiddish Hinach.
So what I was about to say is that it seems like this is the opposite of what, let's say, L'Kutei Moharan or like Rav Nachman is. Here it sounds like you hate evil, you'll love good. It sounds like Rav Nachman's more like you love good, you love good. Like
What,
if you
Rabbi
love
Nachman?
good, if you love, here I forgot the lashon he says here.
It becomes second nature. Therefore, if he comes to despise evil, it becomes more despicable in truth.
And I imagine like Rav Nachman's the other way around. If you love MS, you come to hate it.
So what? His focus more is on the MS. You're saying?
It sounds like like
Whereas,
his to be his bonain and to do.
There definitely is a different focus. His more lamata. His derech is more like Rabbi Nachman looking upwards, whereas Rabbi Chabad is looking downwards. Chochmah Bina,
more
looking
grounded.
downwards. Yeah.
Nachman's more.
I do see that. Yeah.
We have to figure that one out because that's a deep concept. Like because it's brought down in Masorah, the Breslov is more Nahim. It's dealing with Netzach Yisod, which is more the lower midas.
Right.
And how do you get them up, like clapping and dancing and Amunah, and whereas with Chabad is Chochmah Bin Adas, is bringing down the true way of understanding, bringing it down into your everyday life.
Right.
And that's more the derech of Chabad. But obviously they both get from each other a little bit as well. Therefore, he comes.
What's the word they use where you're like everything?
Chabakuk. Chabad, Breslov, and Cook.
Right.
And also Kalibach, I think, as well.
Yeah, Kalibach.
Yeah, throw that in. Why not? Yeah. Therefore, if he casts himself to despise evil, it will to some extent become despicable in truth. Let's round off this chapter because it's been a very important one.
Yeah.
That Shahago Lamos Etzorah Yeh Nemos Kesat Be'emes Shahago L'Samech Nafsho B'Hashem. This is the point.
Right.
Samech your soul with Hashem. How? And this is the Chabad Nakuda, is bonus in the greatness of Hashem. And what is that? Hasruta de la Tata. It's actually Hasruta de la Tata with an Hasruta de la Tata, an awakening from below, which will what? Hasruta de Leila, which will create an awakening from above.
Right.
So there is in Chabad as well this concept by focusing on Hashem will bring down a heavenly inspiration.
Right.
And that heavenly inspiration, so there is a way for even a Beinoni to awaken this love for Hashem in a higher way.
Right.
He might not still become a tzaddik, but he's still on the level of Beinoni on a more effective, a more geschmacka Beinoni, like where he's enjoying Yiddishkeit, where he's in love with Hashem. He's Sameach Nafsho, he's happy, which is what...
The thing I liked about Tanya is that he takes that word tzaddik and says, he like moves it. You're like, because at least for me, like the word tzaddik has been like, you want to be a tzaddik when you grow older, and it's like, no. He takes that and he like almost like moves the piece out of the playing board. Like a tzaddik is someone who was born with a certain like you read the stories of the Tzaddikim where they have like these gifts and Gilu, like these aren't human beings, these are superhumans. So he like pulls it off the table and he's like, let's remove that. Now what's left is this and this, and then he helps clarify that we're really all within the realm of the Beinoni. It's like, and it's a spectrum of how far we push it, And
but you're seeing even here, he's awakening a heavenly hashpah that starts to make him seem like a tzaddik.
Yeah,
because he's Sameach of Hashem, which is the Avatanugim, and he's hating the evil, which is sounding like a tzaddik almost.
Right.
But it's still this nakuda where it's not enough. The revelation didn't happen enough to hate the evil enough, to love Hashem enough to make him into that level of a tzaddik. So it's because the nudnik's still there. That's the point.
Right. The
In a revealed sense.
Inner
The inner reality is he's still got Haman. And that's important to be real with that. That reality check is very healthy, because then you don't get once again into imaginations, into demyonis. And demyonis can be a very dangerous thing in Yiddishkeit. You start imagining yourself you're more than you are, and then you can't function properly. Because, say for example, I did this. You start thinking you're such a tzaddik, and everything else is. I used to say this to my wife: "It's a goyish zach." To go to get a coffee, pizza, spend time with you is a goyish zach. That's the kind of it's from Yetzirah.
I tell my wife the same thing.
No, that's the from Yetzirah.
I say,
don't do that. It's the from Yetzirah. Really, when you're real with yourself, that you also want a coffee, and you know what? You also want a pizza, and you also need to chill and talk and connect to this lady and work in your emotional world. And it's not enough just to just sit and say, I'm going to sit and learn and ignore everything. That's not Ratzon Hashem.
Right. For you, it's not. For me, no.
A tzaddik, somehow, he gets to the level where the Rebbetzin sees that her husband is such a Zoe, such a Rebbe, that she'll see, she won't try bother him that much.
Right.
She'll come to him with things, but she's not going to make him go to a pizza store.
Oh, he's so lucky.
He's not going to have to go to Disneyland, once a year or whatever.
Have you ever been to that place?
No, not in a long time. I went when I was a kid.
This world.
Yeah. Anyway.
Besides for the treifness that comes out of there, it's just
I'm telling you, my Hashem did a bracha for me. The last 3 days before last Shabbos, my son went away in this school that he's in, Titra, and they went 3 days all around Eretz Yisrael. They went to Lat, and they did all the tilim that a father should really take their kids on, and I never did because I'm not that kind of guy. And they took them to the magic thing, Cass place, where they went on these crazy rides, and they went to all these amazing places. They went biking, and they went hiking, and they went swimming, and they went in the yam, and they went on boats and speed boats, and they did everything. Yeah.
Which school is this?
Atidchem, the base safer in Yerushalayim. Yeah?
Ah, okay.
Very open place, but quite Israeli. So you'd have to be a little bit more Israeli probably to benefit from it, because the kids are quite Israeli kids. But anyway, so the point is that they had this, and they had the most amazing 3 days. And I was like, what a chesed Hashem. I said to my kids, I helped pay towards it, but it was very subsidized, thank God. But I just like, this is the chesed Hashem as a father. It's like, I was getting nachas, because this is all the stuff I really should be doing with my kids and just don't have cheshik ability. And Hashem arranged that there'll be a school at this time of their life to mushroom. One of my sons used to always say, I never went to Abu Vim, on those banana boats and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And his friends at that time had done all that kind of stuff. And I was a bit of a tzaddik, and I hated going to the beach. So I know, in certain times, I was a Hasidic Yid, and, Beinoni was a waste of time. I had certain mindsets, and he was a bit upset. Like, he has a tiny hand on us. So one time I took him to Tanya, and I started slowly. Now every year I go to Tanya, and they go on the banana boat and do all the things that the other kids do, yeah?
Right.
And I've learned to be not as crazy for him, yeah? But the Nakuda was, he was always tighter than me. So this is like Hashem's giving him a place which is filling all those spaces.
Right.
And I'm just so happy, I've had a few moments with him. I do something, I don't do nothing.
Right.
But it's just, I don't know. But I'm just saying that you have to be real once again.
You got to be real.
And that realness is what the Tanya is giving us ability to do. And yet, at the same time, I'll just show you some of the videos. I mean, it's just like, this is the kind of things they do. They're eating on a boat, dancing, nice meals, barbecues, like everything you can have. My wife, everything you can.
Fires,
camps,
people with guitars,
biking.
bikes.
Yeah, like all the stuff you'd want to do.
This is Magic Cast.
Magic Cast. It's just amazing, and it was, this is the Chesed Hashem. So,
all right. So then let's just finish up the Perek.
Yeah, with all, sure. Kuli hai ulai. This, I love that lashon. Yeah, Kuli hai ulai. How's it translate there? With all that, perhaps. Is that the translation?
I went ahead. I can't see where.
No, you jumped the page. Kuli hai v'hai.
Of a kuli hai v'ulai.
Ulai. That's a good one.
Perhaps after all
this arousal from below and bringing this big arousal from above, Yara alav ruach memorum v'zizcha b'chinas ruach mishorish. Yeah, that perhaps after all that work, he would descend upon him. He'll have a merit of what? This spirit, this ruach, that's rooted in some tzaddik. So you'll start to have shaykhs to a tzaddik.
Right.
So there is the tzaddik still in the picture. And then he starts to serve Hashem with Simcha amitas, with true joy. I mean, who doesn't want this in life?
Right.
That's what we're learning this morning with Shlomo. Yeah. Real Yiddishkeit should be that it should get point where Simcha amitas, true happiness. Yeah, go on.
The more I do my avodas Hashem, the closer I feel to my Rebbe.
Oh.
And I feel the closer connection to him also. Like at one point Weinberg was always my Rebbe, but when I was not in the Mushtarkis stage, she was like.
I had that from some of my friends. I used to phone them up in America. I said, "You're so lucky you have Moshe Weinberg. I listen to him every day." Blah, blah, blah. And they were like, he's a heavy guy, he's so heavy, so strict. He's so strict in the shul. I just want to have for braying and have fun.
Right, people have
you had that Tanya, And I was like, what are you talking about? I would dream to be in your community. I was like always telling them, I don't have a community like you have in America where everyone's so together and the rabbi is so real and down to earth. I always used to try to tell them, you don't realize what you've got, man.
Yeah.
And I used to give it to them. I'm not going to say their names. You probably know who they are. But anyway,
a lot of people feel that. Yeah. Simcha Tzaddikim
Hashem. It's Kaim Bar Be'emes, Hashavua, Mashbiyim, Tia Sadik. And then you get what happens. Even a Beinoni can come to this level through what?
Right. He says here. Rejoice the
Tzaddikim and Hashem.
This alludes to the idea that when two types of Tzaddikim are joined together, the verse is just Tzaddikim in the plural form, when the Beinoni, called the lower level Tzaddik, is impregnated, with the soul of a Tzaddik. I got it. Was impregnated with the soul of a Tzaddik.
Yeah, this is a huge
A higher level Tzaddik, they both rejoice in Hashem. Simcha Tzaddikim Hashem. Right? Like
yesterday,
the
I was-
tzaddik imparts his delight and godliness on the Beinoni.
I had a certain family Nisoyan that came up. It was a big test. It was still going on somewhat, but in a lesser level. I explained up a Kabbalist. It was a heavy thing, and I dealt with it. But my heart was broken. And other things going on also breaking my heart.
Right.
And I came to learn Sfas Emes yesterday, and the Sfas Emes, literally, I felt like an Ibor Neshama, it's called. I felt like a tzaddik came into me and helped me understand the Sfas Emes and helped me get to that level of true joy. Just for like half an
Sfas
hour.
Emes.
Now, I didn't last. By the time I got home, I was down again, broken and never to my wife. But
That's the avodah of the Beinoni.
yeah, but so you're going up and down all the time. But the point is, there's moments where these tzaddikim come and help you reach a true avoda. Somehow these neshamas come in.
Hashem.
I don't know how it works, but it's called Ibor Neshama. They come and impregnate us. The neshamas of tzaddikim come help us. The Tanya, the Sfas Emes, the Rabbi Nachman. They come and they pull us out of our
One of my
small
favorite
mindedness and get
Zusha
us to a good
songs is the
place.
song Rebbe Rebbe.
That's and the Kol Rebbe at the end. The Kol Rebbe for me. I mean, I heard him sing that. That for me, I cried so many times.
That song is the Kol Rebbe's niggin?
But he sings at the end, when he goes off.
Right, that I heard.
I don't know. I think they made up the niggin, but
niggin
put
is
it
like,
together with the Kol
I
Rebbe.
used to listen to that niggin like at different points. It meant that I used to cry. It was like,
Yeah, Zusha did pull
was a
down
time
some
where
very
I'd go to
niggin.
the
You know they
the
went
Ohel.
to my Rebbe. Did I tell you about that?
To the Tolna Rebbe?
And they asked him, and they sang the Gunim to him.
And
he
what
said,
they say?
he said the Emerson of Gunim, but they knew the Gunim that never worked. That's a big praise.
I know, yeah. I don't like some of the more newer songs. I feel like they've become a little bit.
They're very creative.
They're original Nigunim, and some of the more like the scattered. Some of them are like, wow,
Yeah, they're very creative.
very creative.
Yeah. What were you going to say about the oil?
I used to listen to that song when I would go to the oil, and I was just like, oh.
That's the right kind of concept.
We
We have to makash ourselves. It's kashrus is a big part of Chabad, big part of Chassidus. To join ourselves.
Yeah, yesterday I went to my wife and I went on a date night.
Nice.
Where did we go? We went to the Kosel.
That's what you did on your date night.
Yeah, we
Kavod.
parked by Mamila. We walked to the Kosel.
That's beautiful.
It's a little like off-putting because when we got there, it was around like 8 o'clock. So it was when all the Chayrus were coming out of the Ramadan.
Oh, those guys.
And it was like, they were just everywhere. They were just Chayrus.
Yeah, clean the glasses look a bit schmutzy.
No, I like it. It's good.
Oh, you like the
It's
schmutz?
good for Shmir Sanayim.
Oh, okay.
I purposely schmutz all over my sunglasses.
The Jaegers.
Yeah, they're my, people don't know.
Hidden, you're hidden.
You'll tell people about my chashivas only afterwards.
After, I'll look back and tell me all these moments.
Sunglasses.
You're planting light inside me.
Yeah, his sunglasses were purposely.
You were the one being Ibor Tzaddikim.
There you go. People don't know. It's like the stories of Rav Nachman. People didn't. They were talking to Rav Nachman and saying,
How come though you don't shout out more in the shir with Rav Shlomo, even though these comments
I don't
sometimes?
know. I just feel like.
By the way, what is it you said the other? He's a good Bakor. What did you say the other day that really affected Rav Shlomo in the shir? We were meant to
What
ask.
did I say?
It was an Erev Shabbos shir. And you said something. It was about Mashiach or something. It's a good point. I remember. I wanted to ask you about it.
I don't
Sort of missed it.
I don't really say it because I feel like
Go let him speak.
I let him speak. I go off on a tangent sometimes, and it's like I feel like my avodah here is very different than for the guys. Like for the klal in general, I feel like I'm coming at it in a different experience, so I don't really like.
But it can sometimes contribute because it will
Right, I
might
feel like if I
complete the picture, you know.
Right, I feel like sometimes if I complete the picture, I do. Sometimes I feel like I need to like check in with my own my own motives. Like, why am I doing it? Am I doing it to contribute, or am I doing to?
Yeah, we have to check that all the
To
time.
stir the pot? Am I doing it to sound? And so like.
I just wanted to do it because I felt like the other guy was taking it too much into that negative space.
I saw that. I was very happy you did that because I was like, I get very sad when I hear that.
You can't help. They can't help it because there's so much years of it.
Right. It's also very hard. Like we were with someone on Shabbos who was saying the same thing. He's like, my oldest kid is named after our best friend's kid. Died in whatever, and they were like, so
it's very emotional.
It's very emotional. It's very hard to.
Because they've given up.
You can't argue with emotions.
They've given up so much to be here,
right?
And they're looking at these other people like, what are you doing?
it's very hard to argue. You can't argue with emotions, right? Emotions they're not even facts. Emotions are just are a.
And there is a fact to it that they were Moser Nefesh, Mamish, and you guys like what? You give a bit of tax, like what? What do you? You know, you do chesed. Okay, Kalakobbi, you're not giving up your children to fight to keep this place. You know,
and their response is we never really asked for it.
What?
I'm assuming that's part of what they say is.
I don't know if there's really a good response. I think the ultimate answer is that each family in the Haredi world is ultimately going to have to make their own choice. Like we didn't choose our son to go into the army, and Hashem worked it out. Because in the end, it's divine providence. And I'm very proud that he's gone to the army. I'm very proud of him. And I'm very happy with how it worked out. Now, he's alive, Baruch Hashem. Now, Chas Shalom, if he wasn't, Chas Shalom, like, I don't know if I'd feel the same way. I might have Tanyas in the army. They didn't look after him properly. I'm just saying.
My kids are just
I don't want to be tested in this way.
For me, like so. I never really told this thing.
He's been a success in the army, so thank you,
What
Hashem.
they would do, what I would do, I'd be like, it's really up to my kids. If they want
It's
to
up
go,
to
if
them,
they want to
yeah.
go, I support them also. Like,
Once they get to 18, they're making their own decisions in life. That's what I've realized. You
to
can't.
me, it's not like this is what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Like right now, we're trying to get my 6th grader into yeshiva in Beit Shemesh, and with Hashem Tov will be their 7th and 8th grade. And the track there is like, it's not like a clear track to like.
Sure.
Like my oldest son he's going next year to this agriculture school up north.
Cool.
Where like these kids, like they come out, they learn Arabic, they come out like then they join the most.
They're perfect for the army.
These kids, they spend half the day
because they have all the skills.
They come out, these kids go to the most elite.
They can go become they can become Secret Service.
Yeah.
Shabak
they go to these like really elite, like tracking you, like all these things. My other son, wants to. He wants to go to yeshiva.
It does go according to a lot to different nefoshes. Like I sent a message to someone, a Haredi family in Yerushalayim this week. I sent him an email because he invited me to mitzvah. We were back and forth. He was one of the first persons to put tefillin on me in my life.
Oh wow!
And we're still in touch. He went to school with my brother. That's like how far back we go. Yeah.
Wow.
So he said to me that when I told him about my oldest son, he said he has a son he thinks will end up in the army because it really is about being real with your children. He has the right build for it. He's mentally tuned for it. So I think that's the real key to success with this whole story is it's very individual. And not making all these klalim and rules for everybody else and forcing it upon people. Once it's political and power based, it's not going to bring out the best of our people. It's got to come from a real place that really are giburim who need to go and fight for our people, and then there are people who are more learned or more academic, and they need to fight in that way by doing the. I think one of my sons is going to be very good with the cyber security. That's going to be his contribution.
Yeah.
You got to figure out each child, and that's really the truth. And same with the system. And another system, they're not always going to be that way, but there's still a way of playing with the system. Like for example, your situation. You say I'm connected to a Weinberger, and you've had a Haredi chinuch, so you know what they're wanting.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're coming from a frat like Lagamre, So it's like the frat's just a side point. It's not like it's been your whole life.
Yeah, it's totally.
And even here, there's so much Haredi going on because there's loads of Torah.
Right, exactly. It's like this place is considered. What is that? Chardal? Is that the word?
Yeah.
What is Bad Ayin? Is that also Chardal? Or that's like.
I don't know all these terminologies.
What's that called?
I don't know. There's people call themselves Dati Light. What does that mean? I have no idea all this stuff.
I love those guys. The long pace, like settlers.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful city.
Misnachlim, I think that's what they call them.
Settlers.
Yeah, settlers.
I love those guys. I just love the sight of them. They're just like mental.
Some of them come to Rebbes. I used to see them all the time at Simcha.
Yeah.
They love Rebbes, a lot of them. One of them was at Tolna the other day. He was dancing on the table in front of the Rebbe, and one of the Hasidim danced with him, and then another guy pushed him away. I was like, there's yesh v'yesh,
These guys are real. They're like the real deal. These guys aren't just. People mislabel them. They don't realize these guys are their mama. They're like their avodas Hashem.
Sure. There's an ash of Torah. There's a fire of Torah.
Fire of it's like a new breed also. It's like a breed of
Eretz Yisrael Yidden.
Eretz Yisrael but a real Eretz Yisrael and these guys are all Uman. They all go to Uman also.
Yeah.
I went to one of these neighborhoods one time for one of these like events.
Yeah, you told me. Yeah,
I was so I still
they're very into Rabbi
actually,
Nachman. Yeah,
They're all like
Rav Kook, Rav
Rav
Nachman.
Nachman, Rav Kook, they're real. They're just it's crazy. But also, but it's also like sneeze and everything is like really
Sure.
like they fit in every box. It's like a certain.
But the challenge is somehow everyone's got to find their way because, for example, being more Anglo, you got to figure out your kids are still more Anglo maybe than Israeli, but they're going to somehow over time be able to maneuver in everything.
Yeah.
And that's be the blessing that will somehow find each child will find his way within this society where there seems to be everything boxed off, but they'll be able to maneuver in every kind of circle. I hope my kids are the kind of souls who are klali, who are able to talk to every kind of yid.
Right, exactly.
That's what I really want my children to be.
Exactly.
I don't want them to be only one way. I don't want that.
To see a Jew in Tel Aviv and embrace him and inspire him.
Well, I think my kids do that. I mean, look, my oldest son's in the Smolanim unit, literally, where it's all left wingers pretty much. He's one of the only datim, only one Haredi, like the payers and everything, and yet he's become like blood brothers with these guys. And that's an amazing breaking of all this klipa of division. That we have ability to be together.
It's here.
Yep.
I feel it. I was at the coast. I said, I felt it. I was like, I felt it.
It's beautiful you did that with your wife.
Yeah,
Maybe I should
I
do
sat
that.
there for like a half hour, 40 minutes. I did this. I did Klali. It was beautiful.
Shalom Yisrael. So look, Hashem's helping us. We're with the Tzaddikim.
What's tomorrow? Tuesday we'll be here.
Yeah.
Wednesday I'm going back to the Misrata Panim.
Oh yeah.
The Hashem's help. My wife and 3 of my kids will be getting their Tudat Zeut.
Oh wow.
They'll be officially making Aliyah. Yeah.
That's
Me and
mazel
my
tov.
youngest son can't.
Bruchim haba.
My mother's Israeli, so it's complicated. I have to fill out all this paperwork. And my youngest son, they messed up his passport. They put the wrong birthday on him.
But that's a big mazel tov. Because that's so like official for your family.
So that's Wednesday.
And you're still gonna have your American passports, yeah?
Yeah, we're still gonna have it.
You got the best of everything. Why
I'm
not?
not gonna have to get my 2002.
You'll get it.
It's gonna take me time. I want to get a gun.
Yeah, that takes a few years.
But now they
They sped it up a little bit now, yeah.
Yeah, Michal Nagel told me that
'Cause of where you
got
live.
his, like interview right away.
My wife, because of she's Magen Madam, took her 3 weeks.
Problem is that you have to know Hebrew. So that's the issue.
What's your Hebrew like? You learning it?
I have to really start like committing to like learning Hebrew.
It's a good idea.
I want to learn Hebrew just so I can converse.
But you were in yeshiva here, so you were around. You've had a lot of time.
Yeah,
here.
but like I know Yeshiva Shehebrew. Like,
What about you? Said your mother's going Israeli. She spoke Hebrew.
Hebrew at home, but like I used to get so annoyed at her when she did that. Like because my father also speaks Hebrew, so they would speak to each other in Hebrew or Yiddish. I got like so annoyed.
Okay, so it's somewhere in your subconscious. You bring it out.
Yeah, I understand it a lot better than I speak. I'm getting there.
What about your kids? I bet they're picking it up quick.
My oldest son is really picking it up. They're all picking it up, and they'll in time they'll figure it all out.
It's all the process, man.
Yeah.
Shem's
I'll
going to
see
help
ya.
us. Have a good one. Not enough.